Dan and Sue, DeMarcus is there. Congrats.
Hey, DeMarcus.
He's there.
Hall of Famer.
What's up, fellas?
Yeah.
Whoa, I like the ring of that baby.
You should.
Isn't that what greets you now everywhere you go? Isn't everywhere you go, people are saying Hall of Famer? Isn't that how that works?
I don't mind it at all. I don't mind it at all.
He's a 9-time Pro Bowler, Super Bowl champion, and pretty much unblockable, Stugotz.
Yes.
There's a whole nother crew of unblockable human beings they're making these days, and I do wonder what DeMarcus Ware makes of a Myles Garrett, especially DeMarcus. And I'm looking at you now. I don't know what you're weighing these days versus what you were weighing. But
it's not the same.
It seems like you got the football off of you and are now a normal-sized human being, and you're still very muscled and fit, but not inflamed from how unhealthy that Hall of Fame thing is that you did for your life.
Man, I tell you what, I'm probably about 15 pounds smaller. I played sometimes at 270, sometimes at 260. I'm like around about 250 right now. I'm trying to get a little bit more leaner, but to the point to what you said about these Myles Garretts, the Micah Parsons, the Von Millers, these guys are, taking the pass rushing identity by storm, right? They are, TJ Watt too. All those guys are balling. And it's good to see that now that the people are seeing how important it is to have a pass rusher, because it's a passing league now.
DeMarcus, you could tell us, right? Calais Campbell has done it well for a long time, just got to 100 sacks. The idea that Myles Garrett has gotten to 80 sacks faster at a younger age than Reggie White
in this NFL.
With guys
right.
throwing passes in 2 seconds. Can you explain to me, is Myles Garrett appreciably better than Micah Parsons, or is Myles Garrett among the best to have ever done it?
Two different players, first of all. So when you start thinking about a linebacker, Micah Parsons is one of the best linebackers in the league playing right now in rushing the passer. Now, you start thinking about a defensive end, yes, Myles Garrett right now is one of the top defensive ends in the league, playing consistent every year. I don't know how much he's squatting, but he was in here, earlier this season. He was actually deadlifting 4 plates. And I'm looking at him like, dude, what type of genetics, or what are you doing? But to be able to be a specimen like Myles Garrett, to be consistent, is really hard in the league, to where they're passing it, and it's a lot of quick passes. They're changing a lot of the things up, and still be consistent right now is, kudos to him.
Can you explain to us, the Ravens are very good, and Jadeveon Clowney has been great for them, and he's got this great move of not going to do training camp. I'll show up 17 Sundays, and no one will block me, and you watch. And Jadeveon Clowney is having an amazing year. You're watching what's happening at the pass rushing evolution of your position, and who are you, what is it that you're marveling at where you're like, I can't believe this person can do these things?
So a lot of the guys, especially a pass rusher, you always say you got to be a chameleon. For me, I had the long arm I got from Simeon Rice. I got the spin from Dwight Freeney. I got the toss from Reggie White. And I'm starting to see a lot of those players do the exact same moves, just like I did. But when you start looking at like a TJ Watt, I'm like, all right, how can this guy run so fast? How can he bend? I don't know. He looks like he's like 6'5", 6'6", type, player, and can bend around the corner. And then you're looking at Clowney. Clowney just gets out there and just rushes the passer. I have tried to figure out what he's doing, but he's underneath. He's outside. He's doing what he needs to do. And same thing with Micah Parsons. When you got a guy his size playing with the power of a big defensive lineman like Myles Garrett, those are the things that click in my head. And I'm like, how are these guys doing it right now? They're pushing their bodies to a point to where they're getting everything out of it, and I wish I could have.
KJ Henry yesterday, DeMarcus, got 15 yards for sacking the quarterback. And so I'm wondering, could you play with the rules today, with all the rules that protect the quarterbacks? Could you do it?
I could play with the rules at the tail end of my career when they were like, hey, this is how you need to sack the quarterback. I said, wait a minute. I got 138 and a half sacks, and you're going to tell me how to sack the quarterback? So I can't throw him down into the ground and let him know that you have been hit. Or if you talk trash to me, I can't do things to the quarterback to sort of instill some type of fear in him, it would be hard to play. But at the end of the day, a sack is a sack, and so I would probably start probably trying to knock the ball out, make an even bigger play when it comes to sacking the quarterback, because I don't know if it's going to be roughing the passer, and you can't have those type of penalties.
It's weird to hear an all-time great talking about today's players as if he's an old-timer.
Right.
Like it's not honestly, but what he's watching is people who could physically do some of the same things that he could do, who are getting there faster than he got there. Like he can, because he knows how good those offensive linemen have gotten. He knows everybody in the sport's gotten a little bigger, stronger, faster. To me, it's just crazy, DeMarcus. You were playing it 5 minutes ago. Like for you to be watching the sport and being like, how the hell are they doing that? Because you know how hard it is, better than we do.
I tell you what, I was watching the game the other day, and it was a couple of hits, and like my body shivered a little bit. I'm like, holy cow! Like these dudes are like 6'6", 6'7", 6'8", basketball type guys, and they're running as fast as wide receivers. I don't understand like how this is computing right now, but it's working. And I mean, the players are just getting bigger, stronger, faster, just like you just said, and it's a good thing to see, man.
Can you tell me, put me next to you while you're watching the end of the Cowboys game yesterday?
First of all, I had my crown. All right.
No, well done, DeMarcus. Man.
I had my favorite drink is, tea, lemonade with bitters and a little bit of Crown in it. So I had that there to make me feel better. I was watching the game and we didn't get to close it out. I'm one of the biggest fans, and I was pissed because we couldn't close it out, and we had, I know, 2 opportunities which we should have. And I was like, we need to do better when it comes to away games and playing with the same tenacity that we play at home. If we can beat a team by 40, I need to beat a team by 40 away and let people know that I am a road running type team to where if I want to win the Super Bowl, I got to win away. My fans are going to have to travel with us, and we're going to have to beat some butt against these other teams if we want to win the Super Bowl.
But you had Crown Royal. Did you have Instacart with you as well, or was it just Crown Royal?
I had Instacart with me. Listen, I had Instacart with me as well, and that's what really the reason why I'm here. Teaming up with the awesome company and being the hostess with the mostest, and just letting people know that if you want to have the epic watch party, you go to Instacart, you find out, you just click right on my Instacart deal, and you go from hot dogs, hamburgers, charcuterie boards, guacamole, you name it. You just click on it. You have the best party ever. But just teaming up with Crown Royal with their generosity fund, they've given $250,000 to Feeding America, and that's what's near and dear to me when you start thinking about Thanksgiving and them giving $25,000 of that to the North Texas Food Bank to feed families. And they've always been huge when it came to to salute the service campaigns that they've had, and the military is near and dear to me. So we're going to throw a party at the end of the season, and we are going to do it in San Antonio, November 27th. And I think it's going to be a great thing to just let, first of all, people know that you can have an epic watch party with Instacart. Go there. We're helping feed people during Thanksgiving, right? And doing something great, which they always do. And we're going to throw down with a party with the military to salute the service campaigns. And at the end of the year,
he keeps threatening us to throw down. He keeps threatening that he's going to throw down. Like it's
you got to throw down and have a good time.
Okay,
yes,
but
that's what he meant.
You can back off a little bit with the throwdown. You're getting very aggressive with the amount of throwdown partying you're going to be doing.
Hey, no, never too aggressive. No. When it's party time,
15 yards.
Yeah.
Okay, well, 15 yards. Yeah. You couldn't play in today's party games. You can't throw it down anymore.
What a great guess by you with Instacart. I mean,
how'd you know?
Who would have known? Who would have known? That was DeMarcus. It seemed like we were just having a conversation about pass rushes, and then next thing you know, you get in there surgically, and I was, of course, having Crown Royal, and then I had to help you with the Instacart, but I didn't do it well. And so
he noticed.
Help was a curious way to frame it.
You went straight into promo and pitch mode, but I think you're speaking of the right thing when you say, hey, not all the time people give you $250,000 to feed hungry people. And so that's why you're doing this. You're doing it because you can feed some hungry people in a way that helps a good cause.
Yeah, and but also not just feed the hungry, but the military is huge, and we all know that, and they do a lot when it comes to salute the service, and it's near and dear. I had a lot of family in the military, so for me to be able to help out and do some things at the end of the season, I think it's going to be great. And I tell you what, you go on the Instacart, click on all your favorites, and we got you.
All right.
Let's
Yes.
do it.
Again,
I feel like I have to.
They're going to be
I mean,
throwing
yeah,
it down.
right.
What is the greatest military discipline that you saw in your household? Anywhere around your household?
You start your day by making your bed, and you start you end your night by putting your clothes out. So I was always prepared, and I still do the same thing to this day. I get my whole outfit that I'm going to wear for that day, and I make my bed before I leave the house, and that gets me ready for the day, knowing that mentally I'm set.
I want to know exactly what happened and if you ran out of the house you were in when you were watching, whether it was with Crown Royal or not, that meltdown at the end of that game. You hate the Eagles, correct?
I despise the Eagles. Any NFC East team playing with the Dallas Cowboys. I just played them so much, and I was upset after that game. I'm still lost for words. I am not only a player, but I am the biggest Dallas.
Were you
Cowboy
screaming
fan.
at the television? Were you screaming at your television?
I was screaming at the television. I actually turned it off. I turned the television off and I went to bed because I didn't want to upset myself.
And you're
Right.
you're yelling
You
about.
knew the outcome,
Are you
right?
yelling about false starts? Are you screaming about like lack of discipline? Are you screaming about coaching?
I turned the TV off.
Okay, all right. Good to see you.
Be careful, Dan.
Good to see you, DeMarcus. Okay, we'll end it on that note. It was enough menace in the breath of that threat. Yes, thank you, sir. Good seeing you. Not that far
You
removed
take care,
from
man.
playing. Yes, it was
Thank you, DeMarcus.
terrifying human being. I know, Stugotz, in the frenzy of all of the collisions on Saturday and Sunday, college football bigger and more popular than it's ever been, professional football bigger and more popular than it's ever been. At the end of the games, it's all so kind of equal, so kind of competitive every Sunday that Josh Dobbs at the end with an Atlanta team that can be like any team in the NFL, just change the uniforms, they'll look the same as about 15 teams in the NFL, and also just have Bijan Robinson.
Right.
But Heineke will try and bring them back, and Josh Dobbs, their third quarterback, they're halfway through the season, and 5 teams since week 15 of last year. For them to have KJ Osborne go out in a injury that the Red Zone channel said, we're not going to show that again. We're making an executive decision not to show you how his body collapsed there. They did show you how it is Josh Dobbs got into the game,
Right.
which is Jaron Hall at the goal line trying to get 1 yard. And I feel for anybody playing that sport at the goal line. Trying to get 1 yard.
Except Jalen Hurts.
Took on 2 corners, I think, or a corner and a safety. It wasn't even the big guys, and was just left as if a cement truck had hit him, and they just said, out, he's out of the game, get him out of here. And now Dobbs has to learn the names of his offensive linemen. But that's halfway through the season. Right. That's where we are as these, because one of the funny things in the analysis, Stugotz, it seems obvious, does it not? Like we could yell and scream about Brock Purdy. Is he good? Is he not good? But when the 49ers are healthy, they are good. And when they are not healthy, they are less good.
Yes.
And health is kind of an important one here if we're talking about all of the things every week.
I would say it's right at the top of what's important in the NFL. Dan, you have some strange players, strange names you never heard of, playing quarterback right now in the NFL. Clayton Tune?
Do we like Bagent? Because Tune wasn't playing well yesterday. He got sacked 7 times and had 3 or 4 turnovers. Mike, that Chicago Bears game against the Saints, I feel like that was most of the 1 o'clock slate. Just a lot of, and the magic of that sport, Stugotz, is they make you care about the crud.
Yes.
They because that was not.
Well,
like,
so does gambling, though, Dan.
Yeah, yes,
right.
but
Yeah, especially when that number's 8.5 in the
Right.
Superdome.
You had to say it like that?
Woo! What a cover! Had no business.
It was
had all the
dangerous at the
business and
end.
also
It
none of
was
the business
strange. It was
covering
strange.
that one.
The Bears had 5 turnovers or 4 turnovers.
They lost the battle 4-0, I believe. And the game ended with a nice little classy kneel inside their red zone.
Don't you believe?
Get daddy inside the number.
Do you or do you not agree with what I'm about to say? Half the teams in the league have a unit as good as the Saints defense. And therefore, they'll all get to 5-5 because 2 weeks from now.
Well, the Saints are 5-4.
I know, but they're all the same.
They are.
What do you make of the state of the game? Because when the last time offense dipped, there were all these rule changes, and people were saying the sport's got a real problem. It's not what it was like several years ago right now, but defense is starting to come online, and people are pointing out that scoring is down. Unless people are enjoying that aspect of the game, I really like it. I like how difficult it is to score around the goal line. It's almost, as you watch Dallas matriculate downfield, but then the penalties take them deeper and deeper inside Philadelphia's end. I'm like, well, that's probably worse for them. It's harder to score down there now.
Yes, you prefer the big play offense of the Dolphins. It's one of the things that anybody would want in the sport. But I do ask you this because we just talked to DeMarcus Ware about this. If we're going to make everyone in that sport, whether it's a Kmet or a Goddard, be someone who's a 6'7", like Gronk-bodied person running through your secondary, not guardable by human beings, because he's 6'6" and he's like a ballerina out there.
Right.
Kmet is a ballerina. 6'7", 270 pounds of thickness, running up the seam. Thrown a ball in the seam by Bagent. Perfect ball. How am I supposed to guard that? He's the 10th best tight end in the league. Because there are 9 Frankensteins out there. Now I'm going to compact all of it into, here it is. I don't want 1st and goal at the 9. I don't even want to be out here. Somebody's going to run out with a cleaver and embed it in the side of my head.
If it's 1st and goal, you want it at the 9. You just don't want it at the 2 or 1.
Right.
But you understand what I'm saying? It's like if, basically, at the goal line, you tell me with the entirety of my body and my past and my future, go ahead and jump into the garbage, into the trash compactor. Go ahead and jump into the garbage disposal. Stick your arm in the garbage disposal. And
dip a toe.
Just you're going to lose your toes.
Yes.
Look.
I would never jump in.
There was a Dallas Cowboy that jumped on top of the pile that was a brotherly shove, and he just surfed it for a good 10 yards.
Yes.
There's a Schultz running around there no one can guard.
A Kincaid.
Schultz is now in Houston. There's the Ferguson.
Unguardable. Unguardable.
Each of them would be the greatest thing we'd ever seen in the 80s.
That is correct. I long for the day.
Even Conklin?
When Todd Heap, I long for Todd Heap when I understood the position, when it's not 5 inches taller and 40 pounds heavier than Todd Heap.
Janu Smith would be Kellen Winslow.
No way.
Yes, he would.
You're right.
He would.
I agree.
Cole Kmet would be lucky to get to a 3rd contract in the league right now.
Here's another thing that's great, though.
And he would be like Tony Gonzalez if he were around 12 years ago.
Another thing that's great about just the total insanity that is anything at the goal line, the most dangerous place on earth. Well, maybe not, but it's in terms of physical sports. I'm screaming at the television yesterday as Hall is running toward the goal line. Don't do that. You are of a frail body. You're a 6-foot person of normal human size, and 2 defensive backs took him out and left him splayed like a cartoon character.
You want him to stop playing football?
Yes.
Yeah,
I was
really?
I was worried for him.
Huh.
I was concerned for him. And as an added bonus, what they're doing now, I saw 5 different plays this weekend where they're just haul off punching the football as hard as they can. And knowing how to make contact with it, but some of them miss and just catch your esophagus with just punches thrown as hard as it can be thrown in the secondary.
Peanut Tillman became famous for doing that. Like, that was his move, and it was
punching the ball out.
Yeah, punching the ball out. And it was this special thing that nobody else was doing. And now I feel like every single time I see a tackle, that's what particularly defensive backs are going for.
Mike, you're saying all the tight ends today are Jay Novacek's? I mean,
yes.
Really?
I'm saying if you put any of those guys with their athleticism from the modern era and you put them into, not that long ago, the 90s, they all have Hall of Fame careers just because the position has evolved so much. It used to be primarily a blocking position. And now you got to be able to be a wide receiver that can also block.
If we did right now top 10 tight ends and we got to number 10, you would be omitting someone like Mark Andrews. Like all of these Frankensteins, you're going to omit somebody you need to not be omitted.
Top 10 current tight ends.
I think
Andrews is on everyone's list.
I think
Come
Mark
on.
Andrews is a touchdown away from being that franchise's all-time leading touchdown catcher.
Yeah. I'm intrigued by
What's
doing
crazy
this, by
is
the way.
we saw all in college. We all saw Kyle
there.
Pitts be someone.
What happened to
that
him?
Even among the new archetype for tight ends, this guy's a whole different level, and he doesn't even enter the conversation right now.
I suspect he might if he played in San Francisco or elsewhere. He doesn't enter the conversation because of how Atlanta neuters you and the difficulties that you're talking about in the specialization of the game, where it has constricted into the tightness of this toothpaste tube inside the red zone, Stugotz, where it's most violent, and you better have somebody who can just please, dear God, get away from the violence and just throw a fade. Just, can I get it to my...
Which also feels like a dumb play, but given the
but it's just like here on this play,
the meat grinder that is in front of you.
That's correct. You're throwing everyone into the thing in Fargo that was next to the house that the murderers, the meat grinder, the leaf, whatever it is. I don't even know what that machine is. Is it something that just eats mulch? That's what's happening.
Oh, where the landscapers just throw everything into it? Yeah.
And
the
it's
sticks, the branches.
The wood chipper. Thank you.
It's the
Yes.
end of spoiler.
No, you can do it.
The end of Fargo.
Yeah, Steve Buscemi's leg is there.
Mike, I don't want to go any further in the show, and I've been remiss in not bringing this up before now. I believe that Mike Ryan, booster for all University of Miami sports things, has a new favorite collegiate athlete that is not at the University of Miami.
Yes, we should caucus and get an NIL deal
A
for my
different
new
UM.
for my favorite college football player. And the college football was spectacular. I mean, those noon games, there were like 3 different witching hours in college football.
Yeah.
It was incredible. I want to talk about Washington, USC, and I don't think we can find the time.
How about the Texas game? Like, how does
my
Texas
gosh.
not run away with that football
Well,
game?
because the Kansas State kicker misses an extra point and a chip shot, but then at the end of the game buries a 47-yarder. There is nothing like college football. But in all those great games where underdogs came to play on Saturday, Mizzou was an underdog that came to play. They played Georgia tough. I was watching this game. Shout out to Rich Waltz, former Marlins commentator, got this assignment.
He did?
Yeah. But I found my favorite nickname in all of sports and my new favorite college football player. Are you familiar with Harrison Mevis from Missouri? He is their place kicker. His nickname is the Thiccer Kicker.
Oh, we got a fat guy?
Wow.
Yes. The Thiccer Kicker. Look at him in all his glory right now on our YouTube page and DraftKings.
Yes, thank
the
you.
Thiccer Kicker.
Thank you. And embracing his size and weight, and he is not. No one will body shame him. He is. Oh, that
Look
is
at that
glorious.
straight-on approach
Yes.
like Lou the Toe Groza.
That is
number 92.
He's going straight toe. Wait a minute.
From that image, it looks
You
like
have
he's
to,
just
Dan.
going dead on.
Yeah.
Lou the Toe grows up. No, he's got to have a side stand. But look at that photo
but
right
that,
there.
that image. Look, if
Does that not look like the toe?
video, put that in black and white, and you guys tell me that's not something from the 1950s. That is not how someone kicks.
Oh, the Thiccer Kicker. 2 C's.
I've been sending all of my friends George Niang in a Cavs jersey.
Huh.
You've loved George Niang since he was a Cyclone.
It's an odd thing to send to your friends.
I mean, he's pear-shaped and playing in the NBA. I don't even understand it. I don't understand how he got minutes for the Sixers. I don't understand how he
a
now
three-point
bounces
shooter.
There's
around.
always minutes for George Niang.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju, at Le Batard Show. Are there always minutes for George Niang? Mike, I am so in love. I'm in love. How do we send this person some money?
Let's talk about a meeting.
It is time for Stugotz to share his game notes. No one in the media will tell you what happened better than my boy Stu.
Weekend observations brought to you by Miller Lite. Great taste, 96 calories, available for delivery. Dan, they started the season 1-3. There were concerns about the quarterback's health. Those concerns are no longer concerns because, Dan, after winning 4 straight games, including the last 2 against San Francisco and the Bills, Make no mistake about it. Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals are back.
Must be difficult to play that sport when you're a little hurt, huh? When you're playing for a month, a little bit hurt.
Yes. Looks like a different guy.
I mean, they look
the same
like,
guy.
They look like a
Right.
different team
Yes.
when he is not hobbled. Yes. It seems like a difficult sport to play if you're not 100%.
Yeah, correct. They ain't making size 34 waist like they used to. I tell you, man.
Put it on the poll,
It's like
Juju.
a 30.
Same note too, bro.
Pandemic.
34s are starting to feel like a 33.
Put it on the poll, Juju. Are they making 34 waists the way they used to?
It's my least favorite game to play. Does his suit still fit?
Report. Saturn losing its rings in 2025. Just a few years after Kevin Durant lost his. The Durant part wasn't part of the report. It was part of my report.
Yes.
Yep.
I got to tell you, like, when I hear of someone's tragic passing, my first thought is loss and sadness. My second thought, and it happens quite quickly, is I got to fit into a suit.
Put it on the poll, please, at LeBatard
So right.
Show. Since the pandemic, are you afraid of your suit?
Are you?
It's like a gritted death punishment where I was asked, hey, do you have a black suit? And it was just like the chihuahua
Stugotz,
that
why
sees
are you
choppers in the
pretending
background.
like why are you looking at
Oh,
me?
I know.
Like, why are you
I'm laughing
pretending-
at all of us. What, like it's not happening to me?
I mean, I saw a photo of you in a golf cart.
I'm gross.
You were
They told me
undulating.
to stick out my stomach, Dad. I mean, for the picture. So I did. I'm fat. Is that what you're saying?
You were undulating.
I'm fat. Is that good? The undulating thing? What does it mean? 4-5, and suddenly it's all about the process for Dion. How'd that go in Philadelphia? Dan, you know what the P in Coach Prime stands for?
What's that?
It stands for process. Oklahoma State, Bedlam. That's all I got.
That's a strong effort from you.
Thank you. Mike Gundy said winning the final game of Bedlam was a, quote, big deal. It wasn't.
Can we put this on the poll? Has the last 15 years of Mike Gundy at Oklahoma State just been I'm a man, I'm 40? Like,
Yes.
has that been the signature moment they've had in a dozen years?
I think so. Yeah?
There was one other thing.
Yeah, it was like that OEM
Oh, yeah.
thing.
That's right. Lincoln Riley. Blah, blah, blah. That guy. He's got the same record as Clay Helton.
I mean, Washington seems to be good.
I don't know.
I mean, they seem...
Oregon seems to be good.
Well, but Washington...
Beat Oregon. I know. I saw that kid. Hey, Frankfurt. Wait until you get a whiff of Colts Patriots. Alabama. Lurking. Iowa Northwestern. We all lost. I feel more confident saying Alabama will be in the SEC championship game than I do Georgia. How about that?
Really?
Yeah. Alabama's schedule is easy. Georgia's got tough games. They do. They have Mississippi this week. They have Tennessee at Tennessee next week. Alabama.
I'm pretty sure I was betting South Florida in a game in the rain earlier this year that Alabama was playing in because I thought it was over. They didn't have a quarterback.
They eked one.
It was supposed
they
to be.
eked that one out.
They
yes.
didn't even eke it out, but it looked for 2 games like
Oh, no,
Alabama wasn't going to be Alabama. Now you're telling me because of their schedule, it's going to be an easy ride
Well,
to the postseason.
And they're good. Like Milrow's gotten a lot better. They're
Well,
good.
but, I mean, LSU has allowed that to every team they've played this year, every single one.
Yeah. I propose we skip the Big Ten championship game. The Dolphins' offense only works on this continent. In fact, it might only work in Miami.
That's what Chris Cody said. He said he liked Miami's chances all year in the United States.
Another week, another 17 emails from Rocco Mediate. You heard it here first, Dano. The Celtics are going to win 70 games. How about that? You agree?
Is this the first place that's been said? I think people think that if they're healthy, they've.
I haven't heard it.
Overwhelming. Okay, you're the
70.
First
Has someone attached a number to
70
it?
70's a lot. 70 seems unlikely. 70 means only 12 losses.
Right. Wait, it does? Downgrade that to 65.
There have been
maybe.
what, like 3 teams ever that have done that?
The Celtics are good, man.
Okay.
I mean, Dan, historically good. They're going to be historically good. You disagree, huh?
See what's going on with Memphis?
They haven't won yet. Still,
I think they finally won. Yeah, last night against the Blazers. The Marcus Smart thing's not going so great.
Well, they're waiting for Morant to come back, right?
There have been 2
a big
teams
one.
to ever win 70 games. The Chicago Bulls 95-96, the Golden State Warriors 2015.
And the 23-24 Celtics.
All right.
all right. You are first, Stugotz.
Thank
Consider
you.
it noted.
Right.
I think Simmons is already beating you into this. I think Simmons
Really?
is
Damn it.
having real conversations about greatest top 5s ever.
Okay.
Really?
Greatest starting 5 in the conversation.
Good starting 5, man. Al Horford's on the bench. Big Al. 20 for 30. 185 yards. Patrick Mahomes. The Alex Smith is strong in you.
But he said after the game, we're going to get this offense fixed. I promised you. And
Mm-hmm.
it kind of sounded like a threat.
They're 7-2.
If they get it fixed with that defense.
I
man.
promise you, they are going to figure it out too.
He has played in 103 games. The last 2 are among the worst he has ever had. They've won one of them and are 7-2.
He had the flu.
He's got no help on the outside.
Sounds
None.
fluky.
Well, their receivers, Stugotz. What were the top of those stat lines yesterday?
It's a SpongeBob joke.
The top of the receivers, the top receivers for the Chiefs were all people who had 30 yards in the game. That was brutal watching Kansas City win that game.
It was, yes.
Constipated.
It was Noah Gray with 3 catches for 34 yards.
you know
Sky
how-
Moore, 2 catches, 33.
Do you know how hard it is to hold Kelsey to 3 catches for whatever it is, 17 yards?
When that's the strategy, hey, let's let the other guys eat.
Yeah.
And the other guys eat to the total of like 30 yards here and there.
It was 3 catches, 14 yards for Kelsey.
Miami being
Ridiculous.
viewed as a fraud because Kansas City won that way is a fairly amazing thing to watch happen.
Kansas City's defense, I think, should be the talking point.
Yes.
It can't be, correct? It simply cannot be.
Ever.
It won't be. We're too in love with offense. It's not going to be defense around the league is slowing offense everywhere, and Kansas City's got an elite defense. It won't be that.
I don't want to be overreactionary to the defenses having their time right now, but I do think come the postseason, if these defenses keep playing this kind of way, then Stugotz is going to talk himself into Jets winning the AFC.
Have you seen a lot
almost there.
of Hill defended with Snead pressing him at the line that way? Have you seen a lot of that done?
Yeah, I think
successfully?
there were like 2 highlights of him getting jammed there, but like the doubling and the high safeties, that's how you make Tyreek Hill a decoy.
Tyson Bagent can scoot. Special Bagent. Need my music. I've deliberated for 9 weeks, and the jury is in, Dan.
It's in?
Jordan Love sucks.
Oh, my God. Wait a minute.
Yeah, not good.
You've been wrong 4 different ways on Jordan Love. You've almost been wrong as many times on Jordan Love as I've been on Josh Allen. Every time I say
You're right again now,
I know. Well, I'm wrong again. I'm not right again. I'm wrong again. What happens with Josh Allen is amazing. It is week to week, and now he's a reckless quarterback who can't be trusted anymore. As soon as I said that the reckless had been coached out of him, and Brian Daboll was a genius.
Jordan Love was fine yesterday.
Yeah.
Did you rate that Saturday?
Yeah.
Jordan Love was just okay.
Just okay, Billy.
Just okay.
They got the win. I understand what you're saying, but he was just okay. He's not good.
He beat Brett Ripien.
There's another guy starting.
That was hard. Yes, we're down.
There's always going to be a Ripien quarterbacking somewhere, right?
Always, yes.
Is there a third? Is there a third?
The
Ripien?
daughter was a quarterback in the Legends Football League for a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, put it on the poll, please, Juju, at Le Batard Show. Is there always going to be? I think it's also Rippin, isn't it? It's not Ripien. It's Rippin.
It's Rippin, yeah. Mark Rippin.
That's okay. Jessica and Mike are both scurrying to find the music. Everyone is wandering around the studio, bumping into each other. But keep going. Power on, Stugotz. We're almost to the end.
It was nice to not see the Lakers on the schedule on a Sunday night. I hope LeBron enjoyed a nice day of football and a big Sunday night family dinner.
What a weird take.
It
by
is.
you.
Taysom Hill, 11 carries, 52 yards. 1 of 1 passing for 3 yards and a tutty. 4 catches, 13 yards, and another tutty. You know what Taysom Hill did, Dan?
A little bit of everything.
Wow, he did. You got it.
Amazing.
Oh my God.
Amazing that I could correctly
Holy
predict
cow.
you putting in a maximum effort on which cliche to choose.
The Cardinals had 58 yards of total offense. One might say the Cardinals' offense was out of tune.
Well done.
Thank you. Death, taxes, and Chris Myers on the call for Taylor Heineke and Josh Dobbs. Myers lives there, man.
I feel so bad for him. It's been a good career in that lane.
Yeah.
With the 6th best game of the week.
Yep. Wrigley Field was too good of a venue for Iowa Northwestern. Wrigley deserved better. The friendly confines. You can't have enough guys like Joshua Dobbs on your team.
What?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I thought if that position is measured by winning, that Joshua Dobbs has had some difficulty with that.
Can't have too many of them.
Okay.
The Mayfield-Dobbs scrambles at the same time, roughly 4 p.m. Eastern, were the greatest 2 scrambles in different games at the same time in NFL history.
If I have 2 Dobbses, I don't have a quarterback.
You can't have enough Dobbses.
But if you have
Right.
3 Dobbses, you don't have a quarterback. Your lifelong cliche is if you have 2 quarterbacks, you don't have one.
Just the character is what I'm talking about. Joshua Dobbs. Just always
I'm
there.
with Stu.
Yeah. Need a guy like that. CJ Stroud, congratulations on the rare combo of arriving and having a breakout game all on the same day. Incredible.
Don't those normally happen?
I don't
like
know.
That?
Will Levis. Might be something there.
I think that's how people arrive with a breakout game. Otherwise, they would have arrived before the breakout
Maybe.
game. What do you mean maybe?
My notes.
But it's the same thing.
You're right.
It's not the same thing, Jessica?
Semantics.
That's not the same.
It's not semantics.
Completely
We agree to disagree.
What do you? But it's not. You arrive with a breakout game. You don't arrive with 2 points, 2 rebounds. You don't arrive. Never mind.
Hey, Chiefs, beat them on the road. Dan, do you know what the C in CJ Stroud stands for?
Clutch.
Good guess, but it stands for Canton.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, you upgraded him to Canton.
I did.
He made 6 throws yesterday that I'd put in Canton. 6.
It's the quickest
I'd
anyone's
send
ever
them-
gotten to Canton.
I'd send them right away. I'd just send video of them.
Okay. If the NBA Cup is happening, but no one cares that it's happening, is it really happening?
They put the kicker on the screen in black and white. You tell me he doesn't look like Lou the Toad Groza. You tell me that is not a picture taken in 2023. That is not what tried to to knock off Georgia. That kick is awfully low to the ground. That's totally getting blocked. It's not a good kick.
Dan, the T in Tyler Van Dyke stands for terrible. The V stands for very bad. The D stands for dreadful. Oklahoma State won the final edition of Bedlam. You know what that means, Dan?
I do not.
It means the Cowboys had the last laugh.
Oh, nice.
Nick Sirianni looks like Philadelphia. Notre Dame Clemson, the rare win-win for Jessica Smetana. Smetty.
But one of the teams lost.
I wanted Notre Dame to win, too.
Hey, Tyler from Spartanburg, stick that in your pipe and smoke it. The Raiders are better without Josh McDaniel. If somebody doesn't start throwing footballs Devontae Adams' way, there's going to be a real problem. He's getting pissed.
The Jets almost traded for him. They tried to trade for him.
They're going to get him. Washington and USC scored more points in one game than Iowa has in its last 6. The Hawkeyes, death, taxes, and Steve Spagnuolo. Spags.
Still out there.
Winning games, kicking ass.
Blitzing.
Kansas City Chiefs. Defense wins championships. Ish Smith is a Hornet. Shocking. The O in Oklahoma stands for out of the playoffs. Cowboys, Eagles, game of inches. Deion Sanders said, you better get me right now. And since he said it, everyone has gotten him right now. 2-6 Army beat 8-0 Air Force. You know what happens when those two teams get together, right, Dan?
Thank you for your service.
You can throw that, and you can throw out the record
Throw
books.
out the record
Well
books.
done. You're on your game, man.
That was the most shocking result of the weekend.
Yeah.
I thought Air Force was supposed to be good.
They are good.
You don't beat the Chiefs in Frankfurt. Who the hell's Clayton Tune? Speaking of hell, or Bryles. Dan, those are the weekend observations.